Hey everyone, and welcome to Millennium Computers online 5-minute tutorial series. Today's course is going to answer the question, how do I change column titles or column widths? Now this is a course that is going to cover this feature at the administrative level. In other words, make these changes for all end users of this application within your institution. Now this is a question we get all the time, and it's not something that you need Millennium to do for you. You can actually do this for yourselves and have it apply to all of your end users for that report. Let's take a look at one of my reports in the Human Resource Reporting application. But keep in mind, when we're talking about functionality at the administrative level, we can apply all these tools to any application, and in fact, any report within any application in FAST. So I'm going to go ahead and execute this basic report. Now this is one of my great big reports. So in terms of baseline or out of the box, you're going to notice a scroll bar on the bottom of the page, and that's going to take you through all the different columns that this report has generated. Now what we might want to do is make a few changes to this for all end users. We've covered some of the report level admin features in other tutorials. We've also covered the advanced options in quite a bit of detail. So advanced options means what can your end users or staff do to this report to modify it for themselves, and then go ahead and save that as a pinned report. When we're talking about advanced options, that is for the end user themselves. When we're talking about administrative changes, that's going to apply to all end users. So let's go ahead and click on the plus more tab and then select administration. Now, one of the things we get asked to do all the time is change some of the titles on the different report columns. So within any report, you're going to notice the baseline text or descriptions that have been used for each column title, but these may not align with either the way you do business or what your end users expect to see in terms of what data is actually in those fields. Let's use as an example this field called Home ORGN or Home Org or Home Organization. Maybe I want to actually change that to be something more in line with the way my end users are going to understand the data that's actually in that field. I'm going to change this to Home Department, and I'll go ahead and change the next one to Home Department Description. Now we could also abbreviate that if I wanted to. I could just put DPT if I'm trying to maybe save on a bit of real estate here. So let's make that Home Dept instead, okay? So we've made those changes. I haven't saved them yet. Let's do one other change before we leave this page. What I'd like to do is in my description field, which is the field right above here, I'm actually looking right now at a description field for the position number. So what I'd like to do is notice that my width currently is 175 pixels. If I am consistently finding that my text is being cut off, and this is especially common in descriptive fields where in your ERP you might have a longer piece of text that you can work with, maybe I want to make this a little bit wider. So I'd like to go ahead and change that to 200 pixels instead of 175. Now, in general, I would say 100 pixels is about an inch worth of space on a typical monitor, but that's pretty much a rough estimate. You may want to do a bit of trial and error here to make sure that you're getting your fields or your widths in line with the majority of the data that's going to be in that field. Once you've made a couple of changes, let's just scroll to the bottom of this page and notice I'm going to get this notation that says this record has been modified and needs to be saved. It's important to save my changes before I leave this page or they're not going to be saved. So let's go ahead now and click Save and Apply Changes. Okay, now once your page reloads, it's always going to take you back to the Filter Options tab. Whenever you make any changes to the look or structure of a report, you need to re-execute it to be able to see those changes. So let's go ahead and click Execute Report one more time. And here we go. So now my description field, you can see, is considerably longer than it was before. And I also have my modified column titles of Home Dept or Department and Home Department Description. These titles can now be made to be fully in line with my business language for my institution or department, but do remember these are going to be changes that will affect every single person who now runs this report. It's a quick and easy way to make sure your report is consistently applied across all end users within the institution and to make sure it has the exact look, feel, and flow that you need for your institution. I hope this has been helpful, and join us again for the next 5-minute tutorial.